Her name is Tapas Fleming, and she is a California licensed acupuncturist. And she created a simple technique, which is known as TAT, which stands for Tapas Acupressure Technique. And it can gently and easily reduce and end limiting beliefs and greatly enhance presence. She really, truly is one of the legends in our field. And she's taught TAT to hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. And this morning, we are fortunate enough to have her right here with us. So Tapas, welcome. Please join us.
Yay, thank you.
Tapas.
Thanks for having me with you.
Oh, we're delighted. And you know, one of the things we have to remember is that many people watching this show, or listening to the show, won't be able to see how beautiful you look this morning, Tapas, and your beautiful background. But we are also live streaming this. We're not live streaming, but we are videoing, and it will be on the Higher Energy YouTube channel for people who would also like to see the video and see who we are. So, welcome, my dear.
Thank you.
It's particularly special that you're with us today because, as we're all well aware, times are a-changing real fast these days with the corona pandemic. And you know, Tapas, one of the things, and this actually happened this morning when I was putting my makeup on, when I think about you, I always think about what I'm seeing right this minute, that big smile, your presence of ease and joy and fun. So that's the energy I think we need in the world today. We need a lot of it. So let's begin, because we need to remember some of the people listening to this show don't know anything about us. They don't know anything about energy psychology. They've never heard of TAT. So could we start at the very beginning?
You know, I heard that's a very good place to start.
Very good. Okay, we promise we won't keep going. But tell us, how did it all begin, Tapas? How did you come up with TAT?
Or maybe what is TAT?
Yeah, let me say what it is first. First
Okay.
of all, it's Tapas, it's acupressure technique, which means,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Yeah, it means anybody can do it for themselves. You don't have to be a licensed acupuncturist. So it's a very, very simple technique that involves touching some points, some acupuncture points or acupressure points on your own head, and putting your attention on a series of statements that delivers new information to your body and mind, that updates the information in your system and allows you to be more relaxed, healthy, and present just right away.
Wow.
So that's what it is. And the way I came up with it, like you asked, Paula, is that basically I, like many people, had a really angry dad. And the rest of us in the family, including my mom, were very stressed and reserved and isolated. And by the time I left home, I just really wanted to get with a guy who was nothing like my father, but kept getting into relationships with guys who, my goodness, were just like my father. And
Surprise!
Surprise! And I just was thinking, how come I keep doing the same stupid things and ending up this way? So that was in the back of my mind, just wanting to be in a happy, close relationship with a guy. So meanwhile, I became an acupuncturist and I was treating allergies. And a woman came to see me who was allergic to salt. I thought, man, that's one of the toughest things to live with I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. So I treated her, and she said, I've been in therapy for 9 years because when I was a child, I was sexually abused. It was in a bar, and afterwards I was given a bag of potato chips. And so the salt and the potato chips all became, and the event all became like, this is all really bad for me. It all became this one glom of, oh my God. So what had happened shortly before that was I was taking a nap on a slow day in my acupuncture office and on my acupuncture table.
I've been known to do that.
And when I woke up, there was just this thought with me from one of my professors about how all the acupuncture meridians join and enter the brain at this point that's just above the upper inner corner of each eye. And so I thought I'd add that into my practice. And when I did, things got much more effective for my clients. And I just kept developing it through my acupuncture practice, where I was mostly working with allergies. So when this woman said, I don't have any charge left on that entire period of my life now that you've treated me for salt, I went, oh my God, my prayers have been answered, because I realized I could use this for any kind of emotional allergy, and I could clear up whatever it was that was making me keep doing the same stupid things and end up in relationships that weren't working out. So that was the drive. And just over the years, also I had cancer, and it took a year of doing TAT, just 3 chemo treatments, and then ending that path and doing natural healing, and it all healed up. And TAT was a big part of it. So sometimes TAT works like kaboom, you do like you did with this person, 1 session and that whole period of her life and the salt allergy all cleared up. And sometimes there are things that just take time and doing repeated sessions. So yeah, that was the inspiration, and that's
And
what happened.
what is it you said that all comes together right here?
All the meridians join and enter the brain just above the, like 1/8 of an inch above the upper inner corner of each eye. That's the first point of the urinary bladder channel. It's not up at your eyebrows, down just above your tear ducts,
So it's
inner corner of each eye.
not-
Yeah.
So I know probably at this point in time, people are going, well, what do you do with that? Do you just hold it? Do you what? So maybe we should just sort of cut to the chase, and then we'll backtrack. Can you show them what is the pose for
Sure.
doing
So
TAT?
for those that, obviously if it's a podcast, you're listening, you're not going to be able to see it. Again, you can come to the ACEP, YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see this show. Or you can also, you'll be able to get there by going to, well, you can go to YouTube and look up ACEP, or you can go to podcast.energypsych.org, and there'll be ways to get there.
Yes, and I'll describe it really well in words for.
Yes, that would be good.
Okay. Okay, so you use whichever hand you want. You use your thumb and your ring finger, meaning the finger next to your pinky finger, and you lightly touch just immediately above the inner corner of each eye. So it's just above your tear duct, really. Light touch, no squeeze, no pressure, super light, really light touch. And your middle finger, your longest finger, you put on the midline of your head, between your eyebrows, and just about like a ½ inch or so, roughly, just slightly above your eyebrow level, midline.
Some people would call that the third eye, right, Tapas?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
It's also an acupuncture point, but yep, that's it. And your other hand goes at the base of your skull, so that your hand is really on your head, not down in your neck. It's on your hand. I mean, on your head and centered. So for people who can see, I'm turning around so you can see it. Anyway, so that's the TAT pose. So you can give your arms a rest now. And
you know, I could actually start feeling something. The minute I made contact with those points, I could feel, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it was like a vibration, but I could feel it almost all the way up into the crown of my head.
yeah,
It was very powerful.
it is super powerful. Yep.
And so now, while you're holding those
But
points.
let me also say, Paul, not everybody will feel that. You're sensitive. So some people will feel nothing.
Yeah, that's true. And probably a lot of people don't feel anything that they can put their finger on right away, right, Tapas?
Yep. The real proof is in your life. Like, do you actually feel better when you're done with the process, or your beliefs change? Do you feel more relaxed? And as we go on, or now, I can walk us through a simple process, because most everyone I know is pretty stressed at this moment with coronavirus and what it means for all of us in our lives, especially economically.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well,
So, yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Why don't we just keep going with the process? Then we can talk a little bit about it, because I know everybody's on the edge of their seat.
Okie dokie. So for you people just listening, I'm going to tell you again how to do the pose. It's your thumb and ring finger, whichever hand. A light touch above the upper inner corner of each eye. Your middle finger goes in the middle, and your other hand goes at the base of your skull, just above your neck. Okay, so that's the pose. What we're going to do first is a really beautiful part of the TAT process, and that's that we make a big intention that includes not only us. So we're doing this not just for ourselves. So what we'll do for this, we do what I call the heart pose. It's just whichever palm over palm you want, and you put it midline near your heart, what people call the heart chakra, but it's midline near your heart.
Okay.
And so when you listen to what I'm saying, all you have to do is make this intention along with me, if you like it. And as we do the steps together of TAT, all you do is relax and notice whatever you notice. You don't try to make what I'm saying true, or try to believe it, or try to change how you feel inside. So first of all, we'll make our intention. So we'll do the heart pose together. That's, again, palm over your heart chakra. So midline near your heart. And our intention is, this healing is on behalf of ourselves and each other, all our families, all our ancestors, everyone involved, all parts of ourselves, all points of view we've ever held, all beings involved, all beings who'd like to benefit. And it'll happen in a way that's safe and easy. Okay, so we'll take a break now, and what we'll do is just think of what is stressing us the most right now, like what's creating the most anxiety for us, especially right now. And what we're going to do is put that in what I call the pot. It means this big us being connected that's real, that we don't know, quote, where or quote exactly how that happens. People call it the field or whatever, but we're connected. We're connected in our intent and in our love with each other. So what we're doing is we're taking whatever it is we're stressed about and putting it in our pot, which means in that field, that's what we're intending to have heal as we're working together in the next few minutes. And as we work together, we don't need to have our attention on what we put in the pot. Plus, if you have any thoughts that come up like, what I have is too big to ever change, or something very small and fast couldn't work for this problem that's so big. Any thoughts like that, just throw them into the pot too as they come up, if they do. Okay, so we've got I think we've all got something we can think of, right? You ready, Paula? Got something?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, Bob.
Can I do about 5 or 6?
You might as well. One of the cool things about TAT is you can do several things at once. So,
Oh, cool.
you
So
know,
you throw many things into the pot. Is that what you're saying?
you can.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So, might need more than one time. And what we're going to do here, obviously, is just a very, very short sample of the whole process.
Okay.
So, up to you guys if you want to say what's one of those things you're throwing in, or you can just say how, you can say the level of stress it is for you now. So we have a before and after.
Okay.
So you could say on a scale of 1 to 10, where's it at, Paula?
I'm going to go with a 7.
Okay, and Bob?
5.
Okay. And I'm going to say mine is, the one that's in my mind is a 3. just because mostly I'm focused on this and not my own stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, so we'll do the pose, the TAT pose. Again, that's thumb, ring finger touching light touch above the upper inner corner of each eye, middle finger at the third eye area, just slightly above the eyebrows, midline, and your other hand at the base of your skull. Not on your neck, but just above and centered. Okay. So we're going to have some quiet time in this podcast because we're going to be quiet a little bit as we do this. Okay. So.
And we invite everybody listening to do this with us.
Oh, for sure.
Think of your own issue. Think of where you are in that 1 to 10, and then let's do this all together, and let's see where you are when we're done.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you so much. I thought that was my intention all along. Thank you for saying it.
I
Okay.
think you may have, but always good to reiterate these things.
Yep. Okay. So we're doing the TAT pose and putting our attention on everything that led up to our resonating, identifying, and connecting with this happened. And we don't need to have any idea what that is. It's just that simple intent. Like when we do an internet search, we just type something in. So it's like this. Everything that led up to our resonating, identifying, and connecting with this happened up to this moment. All that happened up to this moment. It's over. And we don't need to continue to resonate, identify, or connect with what happened. And then I'll speak for just a little bit to all the parts of us that are involved in this. All you parts involved, parts that are physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and energetic that are tied up with this. Everything that led up to you being tied up with this happened. It's over up to this moment, and you don't need to continue to resonate, identify, or connect with it. It's possible for you to relax right in this very moment and feel ease and comfort. It's possible for all you parts of me involved to feel and accept love, support, connection. We're making prayers and wishes, if you like to include prayers, at least wishes, that all the parts of us are uplifted to the highest, happiest, most love-filled life possible, and that all the parts of us accept the help in that right now. And we'll give our hands a rest a sec, and just take a little bit to make whatever wishes or intentions you want for yourself, like, wow, it's possible for me to be relaxed in the middle of all this. Or, wow, this very second, nothing bad is happening to me. Even though I don't know how things are going to roll out, I can see how things happen and I can ask for help, and there's all kinds of support that's possible for me. I'm connected. I can enjoy my connection with my whatever spiritual life, my spiritual core, who I am. Whatever you want to decide, you can do that. Okay, so make those intentions, and then we'll do the pose again while we're making those intentions. Silently. And then we'll put our attention on, this is possible for us. We accept this. This feels great. we allow this in our lives right now. Okay, so you can put your hands down.
Mm.
Just take a second and review what you threw into the pot and see what number you'd give it now. And yeah, so how's that for you,
Wow.
Paul? Where's that at?
That's definitely at a 3. And what I found interesting, what I threw into the pot had to do with financial worries, especially with what's going on right now. And somewhere in the midst of the process, because when I was a child, it was like every Christmas, my mother would say, it's going to be a rough Christmas, things are not so good. And then Christmas would come and we'd have all these presents. So it was very confusing, but there was always this underlying fear about finances that got thrown into our pot. And in the middle of this process, all of a sudden I saw my parents who were in their 90s now, and they are fine. They're financially fine. I realized, oh my God, all this time there was all this worry that has seeped into my own life, but they're fine. There was always enough. There was never a Christmas we went without.
Mm.
And I never thought about that till this very second. So
Awesome.
something came into my consciousness that hadn't been allowed in there before. I could cry. It was actually really, really profound.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear it.
Wow.
Thanks, sweetie. What it also brings for me is that I want to mention to everybody that it's very likely that our childhood stuff is adding hugely to the scale. Our childhood stuff that's messy and unresolved is adding to the scale of our stress now. So
Oh, yeah.
I also highly recommend healing childhood stuff, and it naturally happens as you do TAT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's so sweet, and I'm so happy to hear it. So, Bob, anything you wanted to say, like where your number went or anything?
I'm going to follow that.
Uh-huh.
No, I found myself just getting much more calm and still and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
What do I say, a 5 to like a 2?
Okay.
So I wasn't
Cool.
focused so much on the coronavirus, but more on just being like a maniac. So my wife was saying, you're not present. You're right. I got to not be so sucked into work and everything that gets into that. I just found myself kind of just being very still, which is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Yay.
So, Tapas, one of the
Yes.
questions I have a feeling our listeners are asking themselves is, can I do this by myself? Or is there somewhere, do I need those exact words she said? Or is there somewhere I can find those exact words? So tell us about that.
Oh, sure. If you go to the tatlife.com website,
Okay.
which you'll have, I'm sure, in the notes, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, there's
tatlife.com.
right. Yep.
Okay.
So there's just simple guided TAT with tapas recording you can get, and there's a whole series of recordings about childhood traumas that you can clear out, because after all, a lot of us are going to be at home with time to heal all kinds of stuff. So
Absolutely.
anyway, it's all there. Plus I've got webinars where I lead people through it. And anyway, there's all kinds of recordings there and live events people can participate in. But if you have the whole thing, you can just use it over and over, because probably we're going to be getting news every day that'll bring up something in us, some kind of stress. So you can just do this daily, but not being in the pose more than 20 minutes in a day.
Okay.
Yes.
And if perchance somebody goes, well, God, my arms got really tired being up there all that time, can they do it? Like, can you be on the sofa and be kind of leaning back with that one? Yeah. So
Totally.
you don't have to be
hands.
sitting, you don't have to be sitting straight in meditation position or anything like that.
No, no, you can do it in bed. Some people do it just to help themselves go to sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So is there value in just doing the pose and letting your mind kind of wander of all the things that may be bothering you? Or do you want to focus your thoughts while you're doing it?
the TAT process itself is kind of both, because you just have one thought that you take in and then you allow your mind to totally wander. You don't focus at all. You're in the mood, kind of like if you were a kid in the passenger seat and your parents are driving and you're just looking out the window and enjoying the scenery go by. That's all. There's no sense of this being difficult. It's easy to do. You just listen to the thing. I mean, like, you just experience, you just hear it, and then stuff happens.
But there is a series of I don't think it's just the pose. It's you are taking people through a series of essentially intentions or that are you've calibrated over the years that are very cool and interesting to get at many different aspects, and then the pose helps the person gently sort of release stuff. That you know, one of the ways I've always described TAT, I know, especially compared to, say, some of the other energy psychology approaches, is like tapping. I see as much more masculine, as in the yin yang way. You know, you're doing something, and it's the masculine doing. Whereas TAT is much more feminine. It's much more an allowing process. There's no, you know, so it's more that way. It's like the difference between, I don't know if you know, Paul, I don't know, I think I've mentioned this to Tapas, but you know, so assertiveness is the masculine form. What's the feminine form of assertiveness?
Passive, right?
No, it's assuredness.
Oh.
Assured that it will happen. So masculine assertiveness is you will do it, and the feminine is it will happen. So TAT is much more of this, just allowing it will happen, and you don't have to try so hard, which I really love about it. And I think for some people it's particularly useful, kind of like yoga and yin yoga. They're these very different approaches, and both are good. And I think it depends on where you are in your life and who you are and what's going on. And it's nice to have both.
Yes. Yes.
I love that, Bob. You were practically poetic in that. Wasn't that a beautiful delineation of your system?
I think about these things.
Yes.
Blown away. Something just happened to him, Tapas. It's working. It's working. Wow. Incredible.
I like to say that when people say, well, how does this work? What's happening? I like to say that whatever it is that makes flowers grow is what's making healing happen with TAT. So if you call that nature or God or Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit, or whatever is just nature herself happens with TAT, and it's beautiful.
It is.
And you guys are just, you know, we only have a little over a minute left, but the other way of framing it is, if you remember back in, you know, Abraham Maslow talked about, you know, the hierarchy and needs, and that there's this natural healing force in us that wants to heal. And I think, you know, this is always this interesting question, I think, in our field about, well, there's the cognitive part that you're doing, and then there's the energetic aspect that we're sort of helping connect things and move things.
Right.
So as I like to think about it, we're just allowing this healing process to move. And because what happens is people often get stuck. They just don't, they do things to keep stuck unconsciously. They don't know that they're doing it. They just do it. And this is a way, a really nice, elegant way to just gently allow that to unpeel. That's how I think about it.
So true.
Yes.
Tapas, in our last few minutes here, or minute, less than a minute, what would you like to say in summary?
Please give it a try. It's so powerful and so gentle and easy. And thank you so much, Paula and Bob, for inviting me to
and we thank you for doing this. And again, part of the whole point of this podcast is to get, you know, these various ideas out to people that are for healing, because there are many different paths, and you certainly won't get the healing if you don't try things. So try it. Doesn't work for you, will be another podcast. We'll tell you something else. But a lot of people, but if you don't try it, then you'll never know. And even if it doesn't work for you this time, try it again. I found that sometimes you get called, like, it wasn't working for me on this time. And then later on, it's like, I feel that, yeah, that TAT is calling to me now for whatever reason. So I also find that it just depends and where you are in the moment. And it's good to
So
know that these resources are there.
absolutely. And again, a reminder at tatlife.com. Tapas has all kinds of videos you can follow along with to learn this better. And again, like Bob said, give it a try. And please also, if you enjoyed this show, remember to subscribe to our podcast, review it. That would help us a lot, and share it. We really want to get the word out there. That's why we're doing this, so we can help a lot of people. Thank you, Tapas, for helping us help a lot of people today. Good to see you, dear, always.
You too.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey.